I look like I have pimple cream on. Hello, hello, welcome to my video. If you're from my Instagram, I love you. If you're not from my Instagram, love you all the same. So I've been feeling a little case of the winter blues recently. Now that might be because I've been chugging alcohol and eating garbage since Christmas basically, and I still haven't stopped. Or it might be because my skin is, dry and dull because it's the winter time, and I'm trying to correct that with skincare, but every time I put makeup on, I'm just not feeling it because my skin is not giving its best. So today I decided to show you a base routine that I do every time that I feel like that, whenever I need a little extra glow and whenever I need my skin to look healthy and beautiful. This is what I do. I'm also going to be showing you this eye look, but that's not the main focal point. So anyway, I'm going to stop blabbering and let's get right into the video. So although the focus of this look is the skin, I am still going to do an eye look, of course, and I'm using the same base that I normally use, which is the P. Louise Rumor 02, but I'm going to try and put a little bit less of it. Now the reason for that is because I'm going to put on more product on my face today than I normally do, so I just don't want everything to get too cakey. So I'm still applying it everywhere I normally would, except I'm applying a thinner layer. Now because the skin is going to be in the center of attention, which is exactly how I want it as well, I'm not going to do any type of crazy colorful eye look. I'm just going to do a little soft glam moment, although right now it might not look like it, but you'll see. Now I'm going over the harsh lines with that same exact color and a fluffy detailed brush. So I'm doing this just to lift the shade a little bit, but it's also going to make it easier to blend out with the lighter shade later on. I'm now using that exact same brush, except I wiped it off, so now it's clean, there's nothing on it, and I'm just buffing out the edges of that shade just a tiny bit. So normally I would smoke out an eye look with at least 2 more shades, but today, since we don't want anything dramatic, we just want it to be blended, I'm just going to use 1 shade, and it's going to be this sort of beigey color, and I'm going to blend that right out. Now I'm taking a clean, slightly bigger and fluffier brush and just buffing out the edges of that second shade as well. Okay, fun. So sorry to stop the video right here, but in a fun turn of events, my camera decided to just die on me, and not die like battery, just died. Just the screen turned black. So that's fun, and some of the footage is now missing, so let me bring you up to speed. So what we were doing before we were so very rudely interrupted. So I cut the crease, but I didn't cut it as much as I generally just patted some eyeshadow base all around it because the general shape of the cut crease was already mapped out by me as I was doing this look. But since I'm going for more of a soft look, it doesn't have to be that defined, that precise. I took a big fluffy blending brush and I just patted the base down. Now what does this do besides actually softening out the edges of the crease? Well, actually whatever color you apply on top of this now won't be as loud as extra. It's still going to be pigmented. I'm not saying that it's not going to be pigmented. It is, but just not as much. And that's what we're looking for today's look. And then I just started using that darkest shade and lining my lid. And I'm also sort of stippling it around the edges to get it to blend a little bit at the same time as well. Now I'm just taking a shimmery champagne sort of shade and patting it into the blank space. Now again, I'm not looking for this to be way too pigmented or too dramatic. I'm really looking for it to be sort of soft, and it doesn't have to be precise at all. So now that the eye look is pretty much sorted, we move on to the fun part, which for today's video is the skin. So first I'm just using a pore filling primer and applying that just around my nose and anywhere I might have enlarged pores. Now while I normally don't do this, I'm going to today, and I'm going to use a color corrector, a peachy color corrector, to minimize the appearance of my dark circles even more. Now I'm going to wait for that to get tacky / to almost dry, so about 30 seconds. Now I'm just patting that in place with my finger, but I don't want to move it around too much because I applied it exactly where I need it to be. So I'm doing everything just slightly out of order for me today. And what I'm doing now is just applying some liquid highlighter right on my bare face. And I don't normally apply highlighter all over my entire face, but that's exactly what I'm going to do today. So because the foundation that I'm applying on top of this is going to be medium to full coverage, I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to put quite a lot of this highlighter on because the foundation will cover most of it actually. So once it covers it, it's going to look pretty soft. So now I'm applying my foundation everywhere, and yes, I will be covering the spots that I highlighted, but I will try to cover them a little bit less than the rest of my face, if that makes sense. So today I'm using a damp beauty blender. I normally do this anyway, although today that's very important. And I'm just gonna blend this into my face. Now, as you can see, I'm blending everywhere, but this part in particular is for now left blank because we're just gonna cover it with whatever's left over on the beauty blender, so it won't be too much. I also covered my dark circles, and normally if you're using a color corrector, I wouldn't recommend that you do this, and there's no need for it anyway because it's pretty pigmented and you just would be caking your face up. But since mine isn't as much, it's kind of sheer actually, it's fine for me to do this and my face won't get cakey. So again, on this side, blending out everything, but we're gonna blend out the cheek highlighter at the very end with whatever is left over on the sponge. You know the girl with the dragon tattoo? Yeah, well, I'm the girl with the foundation in her hair, like constantly. So now we're on to concealer, and I'm going to be using two different concealers on my face today. I'm using the Maybelline Age Rewind right now, and for my dark circles, I'm going to be using the Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer because I prefer it to cover my dark circles with. So while I wait for the Maybelline concealer to dry, I'm just going to apply some of the Catrice on my dark circles. You know what the true tea is. Obviously, this is a Maybelline Age Rewind stan channel. But what I hate about it, for real, is the applicator. I really don't care for it. I think maybe that might be one of the reasons why I really don't use it on my dark circles either, because it just messes up my whole thing. So you could have contoured your face if you wanted to around the same time that I applied that liquid highlighter. But for me, for this, the point is not chiseled skin. The point is fresh, glass, relaxed skin. A skin that doesn't look like I've been drinking and substituting champagne for water for the last 2 weeks. That's what I'm looking for, really, to be honest. So now, since my eyes crease, I am going to use a little bit of setting powder to set my under eyes, but not a lot because we don't want to cover that highlighter. And we're not baking, so we're knocking that off immediately. So now, since I didn't contour, I'm just going to bronze. Now I'm applying my favorite blush, which happens to be shimmery anyway, but for today's look, I would recommend that you try a shimmery blush out. It really makes your skin glow beautifully. I know some people are not into them, but just try it out and see how you feel. So I'm almost done here. Now, if you wanted to, you could stop right here because as you can see, that highlighter is now really pretty. It's sort of glistening. It's not giving you glitter, it's giving you glow from within. So if you want to stop here, I understand. However, you know that I am not gonna stop here. I'm gonna add more highlighter, duh. So I'm gonna apply a champagne-y highlighter to match our eyeshadow. And I'm not gonna apply too much, just a little bit at the very highest point. And don't forget everywhere else where you've highlighted. Now, if you go a little bit overboard, just use your beauty blender and whatever's left on it and just blend in everywhere where you went a little ham. So this is it really. I do this every time I need a little extra pick-me-up or in the summertime when I'm looking for that glass skin effect, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below, do you ever switch up your base routine and how? What do you do? Let me know. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching today's video, and please consider subscribing and liking, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!